Hi everyone, this is Menz here, playing the brand new Tier 9 British tank destroyer, the FV4004 Conway, and you can find a full 9.5 patch note list on the official Wargaming website. There is a link in the video description below that'll send you there. I'm just going to be covering this Tier 9 tank destroyer here. Now, like the other British tank destroyers that were released in 9.5, the FV4004 Conway, I'm just going to call it the Conway to skip all that stuff in the beginning. It's very fast as far as its size go. It only has a 35 kilometer an hour top speed limit, which does limit its top speed a lot because the engine's very strong for its weight. So if the top speed was higher, it would get around a lot faster. However, very tall, kind of long. It's not as long as other tanks per se. It's like the Tier 10 pretty much has the same hull as it. However, the Tier 9 has a smaller turret on it. Now, since you are very large, you would expect you to have some armor. However, turret armor is very poor. Better than the Tier 10. However, it's not going to stop many shots at all, unless if they hit your large gun, which happens very frequently, I've noticed, and your mantlet can stop a shot or two here or there. Now, the main draw to this tank is its mobility and also its gun. It only has one gun, so you don't have to grind anything. You don't have to grind a turret. Anything you have to do is the engine, tracks, radio. So it's a pretty easy grind because you start with the top gun, which is really good. The top gun is the 120mm anti-tank gun L1A1, which is also found on the Tier 9 Tortoise of the other British tank destroyer line. Now, they're pretty much identical, however, this gun does have a lower rate of fire, which still gives you a ton of DPM, since the Tortoise has insane amounts on its gun. But it's still a very good gun. However, since it does have mobility over the Tortoise, it does have a slightly lower rate of fire, but nothing major. Now, this tank does suffer from gun depression. It only has 5 degrees, so since you are very, very tall, it's actually very difficult for you to actually fight on hills, unless if it's a small hill where you actually can point over it, or you're going to be on top of hills trying to point over, and since you're tall with low gun depression, it's very difficult. Or if small, medium tanks or light tanks drive up close to you, you can't actually point down far enough to hit them. So that is a problem. However, tank overall, very good, solid. You just have to play a little further back due to the lack of armor, large size, and gun depression. You kind of want to remain hidden and just keep pumping those shells out. Okay, so it's going to be a little hard to stay far back on this map, since it's 100% city. So if nobody goes hill, I'm actually going to go to the hill because I can climb it very quickly. I'm going to see where that Lorraine goes, because he might head up there. Yep, looks like he's gonna turn. As you see, reverse is very fast, accelerates very quickly as well. I'm gonna be heading on this side because it gives me a little bit more room to work with to keep some range on enemies. See if I can't get a lucky quick shot off on somebody. Might not happen, but you never know. I do have a 100% crew, 100% camo, all the crew perks are at 100%. This guy gets pulled in front of me, and I also have gun rammer, ventilation, and optics on this thing. Okay, so far this is working out fairly good. That light tank's running off the hill, so that leads me... Oh, never mind. That guy's up there. There's this ST1 here. Let's see if I can't... fuck, dude. Stop pulling in front of me. I'm trying to help you. I'm not gonna help you if you fucking keep doing that. It's very annoying when people do that. Yeah, I'm gonna take a shot here. Ooh, maybe I'm not. However, the ST1 does have a lot of armor. Okay, please pull back, please pull. There you go. So I'm gonna load an APCR. He's got his turret still pointing at me. Crap, he's gonna be able to escape here. Might be able to get a shot on him real quick. Nope. Gotta be careful with this M41 here. Somebody gets shot at me from the hill, though. It must be that Panther.
Enemy armor is hit.
Give him a little love tap back. There's this T-28. This ST-1 is pushing up. Let Rumba take his shot. Nice job. I was about to say, I'm pretty sure he can see me. However, yeah, he's gonna pull behind cover, rightfully so. Might be able to get a hit on this T-32 if I'm lucky.
We didn't penetrate their armor.
We'll be able to hit this KV-4 if he kept moving. Okay, but pretty much you want to stay at long range so you don't get a lot of fire thrown your way, and you can use your great gun to just keep chucking shells at your enemies without them being able to take you out of the match. Shit, this guy's gonna hurt if he's able to get me. Okay, he's gonna go after that WZ. Nope, he's gonna go... where is he heading? Yeah, he's heading back up there. Might be able to catch him real quick. Didn't get him. Okay, so he's gonna stay back there, so I'm good to push up. I don't know, he's pushing down here. Gee, very surprised he pushed around there. But should be able to pop him. Nope. Should be able to at least get him here now. He might reload and take that light tank out. His shot will hurt me a lot, but not if I kill him first. As you see, this tank is very good, as long as if you don't push up too far and take a ton of damage to begin with. It's really, like all the other TDs released, you gotta play further back, because you have a ton of firepower, but people know you're a large and easy target. So overall, pretty decent match. Most amount of damage in the match, 2,677. Destroyed one tank, and only spotted for a couple hundred damage. So I'm going to hop to another battle here. Now, the best thing about the Conway, a lot of people are going to like, is you get the top gun right away, and you don't have to grind a gun or a turret. Yes, you still have to grind the same amount of experience for the overall line, so you'll be grinding more per tank in the new British Tank Destroyer line. However, it's a little bit easier because you're not grinding with crappy guns on new tank. So I'm going to try to set up way back in B0. It's hit or miss. If I get spotted, I'm going to take a lot of damage. However, I'm going to hang back far enough to where hopefully that won't happen. The new minimap introduced with 9.52 really helps out as well, because you're really helped because the enemies that you don't exactly know where they are but might have been spotted by your teammates, they're still going to show up on the map for you. So say I'm not paying attention and somebody's spotted in B2 or somewhere, as I'm pushing up, I can kind of glance at the minimap, see if my team has spotted anyone there. Doesn't mean that there's always not an enemy there, however it gives you a better chance at avoiding pushing into unseen enemies as before. Now with the speed, all the tank destroyers that came out don't exactly turn their turrets very quick, and that's to be expected because they're tank destroyers. However, it is something to keep an eye on, because while you can push past enemies and avoid them hitting you, you might not be able to keep up with your turret, and you might not be able to shoot back at them unless if you slow down or turn your hull with your turret to make it turn faster. Now I'm too small to actually hide behind these bushes, which really sucks. However, what the hell? I'm just gonna... that person got whacked. Just gonna sit back here, knock a couple trees down, hopefully they help me out a little bit, and see if any enemies are gonna push around here, but judging by that person getting hit, they might not push very hard. This is one of my more favorite spots to sit back. Usually I play aggressively, however on this map, if you're in a tank that isn't very good at being in front lines, very good spot for you. You're able to cover a lot of the map, and it really helps out if you're not exactly needed in the front lines. I think that guy kept pushing up there. I don't know, but it won't hurt. Just wasting a shell. Okay, so my team's starting to move up. I'm gonna need to move up with them. Oh shit. They're pushing up a little faster and more reckless than I expected, because there's still that M46 over there. So I'm gonna bump up to help them. A little risky on my part, however, it's better than losing everyone on my team. Here's this T-34, probably not gonna pen him. Yeah, maybe I will. Get him to back off. The mobility on these tanks is very good, and it really makes your firepower that much better. Do it to beware, because I'm moving to the point where people can see me now, and I'm a huge, easy target to hit. Luckily they bounced off me there. I'm just gonna push on up, join up with my team, so we can just kind of ball up and roll over these guys. Good thing about this tank is a ton of firepower. However, playing behind your team does suck at times, because matches like this where you're doing very good, even though you do have good mobility, sometimes it's hard to catch up to be able to actually do damage. Okay, just get this guy, turn around, move on to this IS, or I might be able to get that ISU as well. Nope, he backed up. So let's go bully this IS here. Crap, I missed. I was trying to rush it because I thought that WZ-120 was going to reload a little faster. But all in all, not really important because we have this lead. The accuracy on the move is good enough with this gun though, with your penetration, to where you're not going to have too many issues with needing to stop to fully aim on a lot of tanks. Okay, I think that T-30 is not going to last as long as the T-54, but I might be wrong. I was right. Although, didn't really get any damage in anyway. So overall, not a great match for this thing, but win's a win. We did not have a hard time winning. So, not a bad game, but nothing spectacular. 1,971 damage, destroyed one tank, spotted for a couple hundred damage. I did block a shell, because while the armor sucks on all these new tanks, you do have a decent amount of armor on the frontal turret. It's not great, but it's something, especially if people hit below your gun. You have that spaced armor here. And your gun's very large, so you do get a lot of shots that hit that as well, which helps. Okay, finally a game with a lot of tanks to put up a challenge. Now, I might just get vaporized. It's really a roll of the dice sometimes with these tanks. I would prefer to be on the other side as well. But some matches, you just take a wrong turn, you get whacked, and there's no coming back from it. Some matches, you're lucky, enemy doesn't see you, and they just kind of drive in your view range. So I'm actually most likely gonna head north, mainly because heading south, there's not a lot of places for me to hide and actually get shots off without potentially taking shots in return. I didn't mention, but that guy's mad. I don't know why he's saying nerf, but yeah, they all have their drawbacks. Like, look, just drive close to me. I can't hit you. I can't even hit your top of your turret. But like I said, this account here, it's a press account. That's why I have a ton of gold and all these tanks unlocked, and that's why you don't see my usual username Siemens up there. Whoa, there's a rock. I was not paying attention. I was looking 100 meters ahead of me. There's a lot of enemies here. Over to Jaeger Tiger, the shot.
Enemy armor is damaged.
I should be able to set up to where if these guys push down. Okay, the tortoise gets shot and missed him now. Hello, little tortoise. That was close. I gotta be careful not to hit my own team.
We didn't penetrate their armor.
Tracked at IS-8. Yeah, he uses repair kit though. Okay, so we're doing well enough to push these guys back a bit.
We dinged them.
They're trying very hard to flank us here, so I'm actually gonna pull back to help out the guys lower down, because I'm not able to push as well up top either. That's where the mobility in this is very deadly for enemies if you play it right. So you're able to be seen, like right now the enemy thinks I'm at B4 and there's a dot there showing them that. However, I'm gonna kind of surprise them by showing up down here. Although I guess I could have stayed with my team because they decided to push. So this was a waste of time. But, whatever. on going. And that tank just escaped my aiming circle. Crap. It's a little bit too far up. Yeah, I'm not doing very good here, but I'm just going to jump into the thick of things and plow right into these guys. That's not good. Not good at all. And I'm dead. That was a mistake. Huge mistake. But goes to show you though, once you get shot, I think I only took 3 hits. You're not going to be able to survive much because you have low HP for tier 9, and while your HP, as you see, I'm on par with the AMX 5120, you're only able to take 2 to 3 hits a lot of the times because there are very high alpha guns in the game now, and unlike tanks where if somebody, I don't know why that guy's so mad, but considering I've got vaporized without doing much, you're not able to bounce any shots. Even if people hit you on that mantlet, you can get lucky if people hit you below your gun, but more often than not, if you're coming at them like this, and the Conway's actually slightly bigger than this, as far as it feels to me, they just have to hit you and you take damage. So it really bounces out that firepower, and I probably should have stuck with my team in the north, but I thought they would have not pushed as quick as they did, and in the end, had I stayed with them, I would have been better off. But once you start pushing in this thing, it's really a crapshoot. If the enemy notices you and shoots you first, then you're gonna die very, very quickly. However, if the enemy doesn't notice you and you're able to get a few hits in, then you're very easily gonna be given the upper hand and just chew right through them with your Greek gun. So not the best matches in this thing, but I feel like it does kind of show off the gameplay and really shows you the negatives of the Conway. While it does have a lot of negatives, I feel that the ease of the grind, since you don't have to get a upgraded gun on this, or turret, it makes this tank very good because overall it does perform very well, as long as if you can kind of hold yourself back and prevent yourself from doing what I did, because okay, he kind of forgot that if you slide into something very quick, you're gonna die. You don't want to play too aggressively unless if you know that you're gonna survive. Now, I took a risk there, and it didn't really pay off. So overall, a pretty decent match. Not spectacular, but it could have been a lot worse. 1,177 damage, destroyed 1 tank, and got a okay amount of experience considering that I didn't do anything, and spotted for a little bit. But overall, it's a great tank in my opinion, and well worth getting. Remember, you can find a link to the 9.5 patch notes in my video description below. Please check out my website, wotguru.com, and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you like this video and you want to keep up to date with new videos I put out. So thanks for watching this video, and see you around.